What's going on, everyone? How are we looking? Thanks for joining the live stream. Daisy, did you like that?
I loved it. I didn't expect that at all. That was so cool.
Oh, man. For anyone who doesn't know, Daisy is constantly, anytime you're in a Star Wars YouTube channel live stream, she's always in a chat writing about how she's hurt herself that day. And so she's kind of just become known as the infamous Daisy. Anytime we see Daisy, we're like, oh no, what'd she do today? So had to put that on there. Love it. Super excited for today's episode, guys. It's good to see you guys again. It's a couple of you I haven't seen in a while. Michael, how have you been, man?
I've been well. It's been a couple of weeks. Apologize for that. Last week it was just I was so tired. I'm like, I can't do this tonight.
Just ran out of steam, huh?
Totally ran out of steam. I was sitting there. My parents were up for the Thanksgiving holiday, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah. And it was just going. It was. I'm looking at the clock. It's 9:30. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to fall asleep right now.
No, it's all good. I did that last night. I got so tired last night. I was literally laying in bed at like 10, and I had to get back up to grab some stuff for work. And like my wife was still up, and I asked her, I was like, "Could you do XYZ?" She's like, "Okay," and she went out of the room, and I literally don't remember anything until I woke up the next morning. Like I was like gone. So I get it.
The body just shuts off and says, "Okay, we're done. We're done. You got to go to bed."
Yep. Absolutely. Mr. Garcia, how are you, sir? How's things been?
Good, thank you, Morgan. It's been good. It's been busy. Started another job, so that's been keeping me busy.
Wow. What have you been doing now?
So I started yet another cleaning job. So I clean a small hotel for truckers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the cleaning business real good now.
Indeed, yeah. Day and night.
Sweet. Daisy, how about you? How have you been?
I've been hurting myself again. Yeah, I've had a bad week of falling over.
You literally need to, you're like my son, Micah. You need to live in bubble wrap. Like,
yeah.
For Christmas, we're getting you bubble wrap.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You can all just roll me down a hill.
Well, no. We're not rolling you down a hill. Okay, that's how you hurt yourself, Daisy. What we're doing is wrapping you in bubble wrap.
Is supposed to protect me.
Yes, but somehow you managed to hurt yourself by sitting down. So we're just gonna wrap you in bubble wrap and keep you there. Like put you on the couch and be like, you just let us know what you need.
I fell off my chair. Okay.
Oh, this girl wants us to roll her down a hill. Okay, wow, this is fun.
I missed the chair.
You went to sit down on the chair and missed the chair?
Yes.
Oh my word. Like pulled it, like the ghost of Christmas past pulled it out from underneath her or something here. Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
And this is great. Now Star Wars nerd want to change it.
Okay, Star Wars nerd, let's make a list of what hasn't she done. That might be a little bit faster to make. Oh man, we got Michael popping off here for a minute. I don't know what happened there, but we'll give him a little bit. Also, we'll have Halfwit joining us a little bit later on.
Awesome.
So
do you
we got
see
some things.
How they treat me, Andy?
I'm concerned, to be honest.
We're trying to protect you. You need bubble wrap. Well, I'm trying to help you out. How they treat you.
Oh no.
Now you're just talking
I
crazy.
did it to myself.
You do it to yourself 100%. So yeah, guys, we got some things to talk about today. We're going to talk about our reactions to the Skeleton Crew, our thoughts of it going forward. I know you probably heard Daisy earlier in their live stream. I'm sure you've heard me in mine. But I wanted to get these guys' reactions to it, their predictions for next week and everything. Just a little advertisement here. I will be doing hold on. Hey, he's back.
Hey.
Sorry, technical difficulties. I tried to fix something and it kicked me out. My bad.
Nope, you're good. Welcome back.
All
Welcome.
good. Thank
I was just letting you know we're going to talk about Skeleton Crew, our reactions, and actually, the guy below me, Mr. Mike, has not seen it and wants us to try and convince me to watch it. So,
So can I say something about that?
yes.
So as you guys know, and Daisy, nice to meet you. I'm like,
Oh, nice to meet
I've been kind of very, very, very sour on Disney. I'm a big Marvel fan and a big Star Wars fan, on both of them, really. So I actually said I'm not going to watch it. I actually got rid of Disney Plus. But anyway, when he's been talking about Skeleton Crew for a while, and I guess it's really good. So I said, you know what we should do? Sell it to me, and all the other people who got sick and tired of the stuff they've been pushing out, and sell it to me and say, what do they deserve to have my business again?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be doing that. So we're going to be doing a little buy sell, the whole buy sell thing today at some point.
Nice.
So, and then, like I said, Halfwit's going to join us. And then we put a pin in this like a eternity and a day ago. We're actually going to get down to talking about Bigfoot a little bit here. Mr.
Yes.
Andy Classified's actually got some things pulled up this time, and he's got his official Bigfoot glasses, I hear. Is this true, Andy?
This is true. I will finally know what I'm talking about with these glasses.
I love it. All right, so we got the Bigfoot glasses. I love it. Also wanted to let all you guys know that are a part of my channel, I am officially collaborating with a company called Sabers Pro. They're going to be sending me lightsabers to review. So I got my first one on its way. And
so cool.
the review will be coming up soon. So
yay.
That's
ready
awesome.
for that. So
That's amazing.
Yep. So first one is the Luke V3 Xenopixel, which I'm excited about. So I'm excited to hold it. So got that coming. I'm also buying another lightsaber behind the scenes that I'll be doing a review on as well. Super looking forward to that. But I think that's it for announcements for now. I'll do all my other advertising at the end of the show. Let's talk about just kind of, like I said, we'll start off with the Skeleton Crew. Mike, I think the best way to start selling you on this is just for us to talk about it a little bit and kind of get you interested. So there's going to be some spoilers here. I hope you don't mind.
No, spoil away.
Okay. So Andy, let's start with you. Let's start with let's go one episode at a time. First episode, what'd you think? What were your thoughts going into the show? And what were your thoughts coming out of episode 1?
Going in, I actually wasn't planning on watching it. I had no interest. I kind of like Mike. I've been pretty sour on Disney lately, especially with Star Wars. So I had no interest in it. And I got back from work what was it, Monday or Tuesday night. And my brother Reed said, "Hey, I'm going to watch it. You want to join?" I said, "Yeah, sure." Put it on. Episode 1, scene 1, I loved it. The first scene was a lot of fun.
It was.
It felt like, it actually didn't feel like well, for a moment it didn't feel like Star Wars. It felt like a pirate show. And then it felt a lot like the opening scene to A New Hope.
Yep.
Just the way it was shot, certain things, and like you were saying, when the captain picks up the captured ship and all that, it was just like, oh, this is really fun. And then afterwards, it was, I think, it felt a little weird. Once the episode ended, it was really fun. It felt weird though, seeing almost like a typical, almost like American lifestyle for a kid, but in the Star Wars universe, going to school, missing the bus, dealing with all the issues of that most kids deal with. But it was very relatable. Playing with the lightsaber with his friend and all.
Yes,
that. It was a lot of fun.
Yes. Like, what kid hasn't done that, right? With his friends. I still do that with my kids, right? That you have pretend lightsaber battles. I have an empty paper towel tube. I'm like, like.
See, I'm the person where wrapping presents and the wrapping paper tube is empty.
Yeah.
I pick it up. I twirl it and I quote Aragorn. I'm like, this is a good sword. But
I love it.
I
Yes.
do that too.
And I do have a lot to say regarding the whole aspect of like the America Suburbia stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to get into that. We'll save that for the end.
Mhm.
Daisy, how about you? Episode, like kind of your thoughts going in to episode 1, your thoughts of episode 1 and how it ended.
Well, I like Andy. I didn't plan on watching it. I didn't really have any intentions on watching it. I just because of I heard of what people were saying online that it was gonna kind of be like The Goonies and Stranger Things, and I wasn't really a fan of those things, so that was kind of off-putting to me.
Mm.
But then I saw that, Hannah from the Ray side was doing a huge watch party for it on YouTube, and I thought, "Well, I'm watching here, I might as well join in." And, oh my god, I fell in love with the first episode, just going into it. I was really shocked. I was surprised. And one thing that, I was talking about earlier with Star Wars Nerd and a few other friends was one thing that really kind of kept us on the edge of our seats and was kind of really pulling us in was we kind of got the vibe throughout the first 2 episodes that, like, all of the adults in the show, like the parents, the teachers, it seemed like they knew some really deep stuff that we didn't and the kids didn't, and it just kind of seemed like they knew some things about Aladdin that were really deep. And one thing that we were talking about earlier is what is the dad working on so much that requires him to not be present for his own child?
Yeah.
Why is he always gone all the time?
I think part of it maybe and we haven't found this out yet, maybe what happened with the mom,
Yeah.
like his version of dealing with grief is sinking into his work,
Mhm.
right? And in that
Ah,
he's neglecting his child,
that makes sense.
And obviously we haven't, like I said, we haven't found out what in the world has happened with mom, but yeah. So I would say for me too, like I decided on this one because there's a lot of Star Wars stuff. Like you, Mike, very soured at Disney about different things. And this one, I decided, okay, the last couple times, and I've been proven right, but the last couple times I've gone in with a very sour attitude. And I was like, I'm going to try my best this time to have an open mind. I'm going to try and stay away from as many commercials and different things as I can. And I want to just kind of take it for what it is. And the one commercial that I saw looked great. It looked like almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. It had the Major Tom on, you know what I mean? It was just kind of, I was like, okay, it kind of seems new and fresh, right? It seems like it's just a kid's show that I can watch with the kids. And I watched episode 1, and I'm with you, Andy. The minute that scene 1 started, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, all right. Like they're trying to grab your attention immediately.
Mhm.
And there was a ton of, like you said, callbacks to New Hope that was really, really cool in the beginning there. And then as it went through, like, yeah, there were some things about like the suburbia aspect that I wasn't a fan of, but I think as I've thought about it, there's actually reasons for it, and I want to get into that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked episode 1. I love Neil. I think Neil is hilarious. I love when Wim catches Neil in the bubble bath. I think that is so funny. I don't know. Neil cracks me up, and he's like Neil so far has been like the Samwise Gamgee of Lord of the Rings. Like he's
Ooh.
the friend that's the true friend. When he was taking
Mm.
that, they were gonna take that test. He goes, "I can fail the test too, so we can be in the same class." Like what kind of friend does that? You know what I mean? That's like willing to fail a test with his buddy, so that way they'll
Mhm.
always be together. So I think that was really cool. Star Wars Nerd says, I think Wim's dad is a Sith Lord, the one we've been looking for. I don't know about that, my guy.
A Sith Lord?
Can I ask a
Law's
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What timeline are we in with this show?
This is after Mandalorian season 3. This is is it 6 or 9 years after the Empire fell? I think.
Okay.
Something in between there, like 6 or 9 years after the Empire has fallen.
So it's in the New Republic then.
Yes, in the New Republic. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So, which is cool. And the other thing that you have that is good about this show and going forward with the new shows, Mike, is that this is the first official show that is just Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Kathleen Kennedy is not involved at all. It's only those two that are heading this project up from here on out for the next couple projects. And so, like I said,
that's good.
Very good, very good. And the first 2 episodes show it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. So let's talk about the second episode then, right? So the first episode ends with the kids blasting off, right? Mm-hmm. And they're all, in the ship. So Andy, second episode, kind of your thoughts through the second episode, and then which episode you like best?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. Maybe I need to watch episode 2 again because all I remember is them at the pirate station, pirate den, shall we say? That was really fun. There was a lot of things to see. I'm sure there was a lot of cameos and callbacks that I totally missed. I'm sure my brother could probably point that out, all the different things. But it was really fun, and it felt very natural. Of like, this is what would happen if 4 kids showed up in a place full of pirates. And then that's when you start to find out that, hey, this place that they call home, everyone thinks is a myth. And so suddenly, like the 2 kids, they go to buy lunch. And like, okay, here's here's what
a stack of Republic credits.
Correct. Yeah. Which is just lunch money that the dad had given. Is it Wim? Is that the name?
Yep.
Wim. And everyone starts like almost fighting over it because these are extremely rare, valuable old credits. And then that's when you realize that, okay, the place that they call home is no one thinks it's real. So that's when all the questions arise. But it was a really fun episode. I think it was really fun. And I have a lot of questions once they meet the captain.
Yes. Yep, I agree. Real quick, Star Wars Nerd is right. She does pop up as an executive producer, but from what I've read, this is the first show where they've been she's still there, but she has a lot less input, kind of a thing. She's still listed as executive producer, but it's more Dave Filoni.
I've been burned before with that stuff, but you're intrigued. This is intriguing me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we'll have to have you over, Mike, and you can come check it out. It's really, again, first 2 episodes have been great.
Yes.
We've seen where shows can drop off after episode.
For sure. Absolutely. 2. Absolutely. Yep. There's always there's always the chance that it turns out not so great.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Star Wars Nerd. Yep. It's the first show with Dave as the CCO. So, yeah. Yep. Yes, sir. Star Wars Nerd. Thank you for pointing that out. I didn't realize that she was on the credits there. So, appreciate you doing that. That's why you're here, Star Wars Nerd. What would we do without you?
Thank you, Star Wars Nerd.
Yep. So he said, he tells them what they can and can't do storyline wise to make it make sense. Yep. Which is great because Dave Filoni is literally George Lucas 2.0, right?
Yes.
I mean, he was trained by George Lucas. So, so that's exciting. How about you, Daisy? Episode 2. What'd you think of episode 2? Which one did you end up liking better?
Episode 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I think mainly because that, I guess, cliffhanger at the end. Oh, it was making me rub my hands together. And I've always been a pretty big fan of Jude Law. I've been a fan of his for years, since I was younger. and I loved him in Fantastic Beasts. So I'm getting really excited to see more of him in Skeleton Crew.
Okay.
Well,
Sweet.
spoil it more for me. I want to hear what this cliffhanger is. I mean, I'll get into it. It's all right. I'm good with that.
So spoiler is that these kids go to this basically this pirate, what would you call it? Like a pirate, not a planet, but it's like a outpost, this big pirate outpost. And they end up getting captured and thrown into a cell. And the key is hanging up outside the cell. And they start talking and arguing amongst themselves. And then that's where Jude Law's character shows up and basically just says, I can get the key. Just get me off this planet. That's all I ask, is that you get me off this planet and I can help you. And so they agree to it. And then he ends up kind of holding out his hand and the key starts floating towards the jail cell. And it floats to his hand and he grabs it and he goes, shh. And then that's the end of the episode. So there's a lot of speculation. Is he, because right now I believe the way his age shows up is that he probably would have been a young teen, mid-teen when Order 66 went down, from how old his character is supposed to be. So people are speculating, okay, was he a Jedi Padawan that got kicked out before Order 66? Was he a Padawan that escaped after Order 66 and never got any more training? My opinion, I think, is that he is none of those things. I think he's just a random dude who happens to have some small affinity for the Force, and he's learned how to use it enough to move cups and move keys and different things like that. I think, like Star Wars Nerd, there's some people that think he's a faker, right? Like he's
a faker or Bane.
You're saying he's saying that because he's reading the Bane trilogy right now, and he's super excited about.
Okay.
Yep.
So can I also point out that this is the first time since maybe the Rise of Skywalker that we've heard the Force theme in a Star Wars project.
Yep.
I got excited for that. As soon as he starts using "quote unquote" the Force, they use the Force theme, and I was like, oh my goodness, for the first time in how many years? When did the Rise of Skywalker come out? 7 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
It was not quite 7 years.
I think it was 20. Was it right before the pandemic? It was like 2019 or 2020 that it came out, like right before the pandemic.
4 or 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So over exaggerated, but regardless, it was the first time we'd heard that in a while.
Yeah, it was awesome to hear that too. And like Star Wars Nerd, I agree. No more Order 66 survivors. Just make them Force sensitive if they go that route. Yeah, I agree. Like, you don't need any more Order 66 survivors. Like, make him. I would rather see him just be, if you're gonna, either A, he's just got some weird affinity for the Force, or B, he was a Jedi Padawan that got kicked out long before Order 66. You know what I mean? And then just started living with pirates or something like that.
I think it would be cool if they made him what Star Wars Nerd just said, just some guy who's got an affinity for the Force, to explore in the Star Wars universe people who are Force sensitive that can do some things, but they're just not trained as a Jedi or a Sith. That would be a really cool way to explore the universe.
Yeah, I agree. I agree a lot. So, go ahead, Andy. You look like you're about to say something.
I was gonna thank you. I was gonna say I think it would be interesting if he is not even Force sensitive. If he's just faking it. I've heard people say he's using magnets, stuff like that. I like the idea of him, and I feel like I heard this from someone else, of him just being whatever the kids need him to be. They're gonna say, "You're a Jedi." He's like, "Yeah, I'm a Jedi." Okay, you're this. Yes, I'm this. He'll just do whatever to keep the kids safe, even if he's not what they actually think he is. He's just, for the kids' sake, they need a Jedi right now. I'll be the Jedi. They need a protector. I'll be the protector.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the Obi-Wan show. Didn't one of the recent shows have a fake Jedi that was doing that very thing?
Yeah.
Yep. That was the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Yep.
That was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, talking about the suburbia aspect of it. So I can't take credit for this idea. I heard this from Star Wars Sith 66. talking on a podcast. I think it might have been with Kai Patterson. But as I got to thinking about it, I think it rings true in my head. And I would love to see them go down this road. Have any of you ever seen The Truman Show?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's a movie with Jim Carrey.
Oh wow, okay.
Where it's he basically grew up in this certain suburbia frame, and come to find out it's all fake. It's all a movie production. It's all fake. He's been living, his whole life has been fake. It's been broadcast out to the actual real world, and he finally figures it out. I think the whole thing with the suburbia thing, if you look, there's not even stars, right? And there's this whole thing, like those green thing, the green gas is supposed to be like the what do they call that? The kids talk about it as they're getting up into space in the ship, like the barrier or whatever. Yeah. Like you're gonna break past the barrier, and then there was nothing. I think that planet is all a Truman Show type planet where it's all fake. Hence, they have all the Republic credits they need. It's run by mainly just droids. It's got that suburbia feel to it. Everyone does the same. They have different jobs, but everyone goes to the same house, lives in the same house. Everyone, like does the same routine every day. Like, I think what's going on is it's some type of like fake planet. Not fake planet, but like fake, like it's not a real lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a studio.
Almost, yeah. Either that, it's like a studio, or I don't know. It's just some type. It's not a real life. It's like a fake suburbia life, but they have everyone believing that they're part of this rich society planet. Because like even in the fact that the dude, like you said, hands them a full like stack of Republic credits and like there's your lunch money, and then he goes out into the real world and puts it down, and they're like, where did you get all that money? Right? Like, Daisy, go ahead, you were gonna say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, yeah, that's kind of what we were discussing earlier, like about it probably being a fake planet, and the adults acting kind of strange throughout the episodes. Like, we never really see the dad, and he pulls out this money out of nowhere, and then the people on the other planet are like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And then that teacher at that school, we were talking about like how we kind of got a weird vibe from her too.
Yeah.
Like she seemed like she was up to something as well.
The supervisor lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. She does. Yeah, like she knows something. And
Yeah.
it's just that whole thing every time they were in the beginning when they were in that planet setting, it seemed off.
Yeah.
There was something about it that seemed off. And so it'll be interesting. Star Wars Nerd says, so like we touched on earlier, what if this planet is from the old Republic? I mean, it could be, right? Because like you said, they mentioned like, hey, where are you from? And he's like, that the two girls are with the one lady over there, the blue skin lady or whatever. And she's like, where are you from? And they're like, Aunt Anna. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, that's legend. You know what I mean? That planet is like, there's no way you're from there, So not that the planet is fake, but maybe like there's something about that planet that's important. Whether there's treasure there or whatever it is, there's something about that planet that's important. But whoever's living on that planet and in charge of that planet has made a fake life for everybody to make it seem like it's not that important. It's just a suburbia life planet. Is how the way I feel.
If that's the case, I want it to connect to the broader Star Wars universe in some meaningful way.
Yeah,
this is where Palpatine comes from, or this is somehow connected to everything that's been happening. If that's what it is, or if it's not, then like okay, that's still cool. Just give us a reason why it would be hidden.
And I wonder this too, and this has been talked about, and I don't know if this is the case or not, but if they're gonna use this, if it keeps going on well enough, if they're gonna use this to connect, because this is after Mandalorian season 3, which means that I think it's right around the timeline of Ahsoka, maybe. But if they use this to connect the Heir to the Empire theme that they seem to be going with somehow, you know what I mean? Then this planet that they're on is somehow connects everything.
I see. Okay.
In some way. I don't know. That's just a speculation on my part. I don't know if that's true or not, but like, we'll see. I don't know. And Star Wars Nerd says, you're not talking about the prequels Republic, but he means the old Republic,
right?
Like Knights of the Old Republic.
So so then this planet was shielded somehow from the events of the Emperor and all that. They were just kind of in their own little corner of the galaxy, and they never actually were adapted to any of the Empire or Clone Wars or anything like that.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. Like they don't necessarily say where this planet is, but it feels like it's like a super far outer rim planet that nobody like is just kind of the stuff of legends. You know what I mean? Like almost.
But in the little iPad storybook deal that Wim is using, do they show images of Return of the Jedi? I know you have a Jedi fighting a Sith. It looked like it was fighting Darth Vader.
It could have. It looked like that to me too. But Star Wars Sith said he was watching some videos about that, and it was actually referring to just a random Jedi and a random Sith from eras gone by. Like you didn't even know the actual name, never heard of it. It was just kind of a. So, because somebody read the Arabesh on it. Yeah, he says it's an advanced planet, but nothing like we've seen in Star Wars before.
That's true. Come to think of it, the droids don't look like Star Wars droids. They look like generic sci-fi movie droids.
Yes.
But not Star Wars.
Yep. It's not until they actually get to the pirate
yes.
The spaceport that you start getting actual Star Wars stuff that you're like, okay, this is Star Wars. Like,
yeah, that's true. Can I also say I don't know the name of the droid on the pirate ship. He's really I like this droid.
I do too. Is it SM-33, I think?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yep. SM-33, Smee. Yep. Smee.
Of course, this is owned by Disney.
Yep. Pretty clever, right? Come on, that's pretty clever.
I see what you did there, Disney. But no, he's a likable droid so far. He's very different. He's not the R2D or C3PO wannabe like every other Star Wars has.
Yeah.
He's tough. Sounds like a pirate. It's cool.
Yeah. He reminds me of a pirate version of KS2O. Is it KS2O in Andor?
K2SO, I believe.
K2SO, thank you. K2SO. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Reminds me of a pirate version of that.
Gotcha.
It was funny. I was watching this the other night with my sons for the first time, and when he the hallway's red, and you just see the eye, and all of a sudden you just hear boom, boom, as he's marching down the hall. One of my boys is like, it was funny.
That's awesome. As soon as we saw the droid, when it was unplugged or dead, so to speak, I told Reed, I was like, that thing's gonna come alive, and we're gonna have a zombie droid.
Yep.
And we kind of got that, but at the same time we didn't. But it was still fun.
I liked his voice too. Yep. Hey, Galactic Cantina in the house. What's up? How's it going?
Hello.
Star Wars nerd here says, excuse the language, but he says that the droid that KM33 or KS33, KM33. SM-33. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm mixing up K2SO and SM-33. Oh, my word. So SM-33 is more BA than Chopper or R2. I said what I said.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Again, he's very different from the typical droids we've been getting, and it's very refreshing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Mike, have we sold you on this show yet?
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna probably dive in and start watching. I got to get Disney Plus again, or maybe I just come to your house and watch it.
Do that.
Come
yeah.
on over.
Yeah. There you go. Make a night of it, you guys. Go watch it. And
So we're
if you
2
guys-
episodes in.
2 episodes
Yeah,
in.
2 episodes.
Next
Okay.
episode is Tuesday night. I am hosting a live watch party with my buddy Battle Pack. So if you guys are down, you guys want to watch it when it comes out 8 p.m. Central Time. We can all. I do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. We start it at the same time. We watch it while we're live streaming and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So, Star Wars nerd, I'm downloading this and adding it to the brain fart collection now. Please no. That's funny. So yeah, I think it's a great show so far. 2 episodes in. Again, we've seen it before and we've seen it go down fast. So
Yes, we have.
but so far, I think it's started off better than a lot of the other shows that we've gotten so far. So other than like The Mandalorian. But Andy, any predictions as far as where you think it's gonna go, or any thoughts like, oh, I would like to see it go this direction?
I have no idea where it's going to go right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have no predictions just because I'm like, I have no idea what they're going to do with this.
Yeah. Daisy, anything?
I really want to see Jude Law's character become a Jedi. I need to see it. Just because I saw him in Fantastic Beasts with a Harry Potter wand, and I want to see him be a Jedi too.
Yeah.
I think he'd be one heck of a Jedi. I want
Yeah.
to see, and I think one thing we were talking about earlier, me and Star Wars Nerd and the others, like Wim, is that his name? The little
Wim.
boy, Wim.
Yeah.
Wim?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He loves Jedi so much,
Yeah.
and Jude Law's character is probably gonna see how badly Wim wants to be a Jedi, and he's gonna find ways to manipulate Wim probably, and probably find ways to trick him so he'll help him along throughout the
Yeah.
show. And I'm curious to see how that's gonna play out.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yep.
But correct me if I'm wrong. If for him to become a Jedi, like Daisy, if that's what you want, he's going to probably have to link up with Luke at some point because Luke's the only Jedi in town.
And
unless, once again, we explore other opportunities.
This is only 6 to 9 years after the Return of the Jedi, so Luke is in a state right now where he's at his probably close to his most powerful state, and he's trying to rebuild for all intents and purposes, right? So it's like he's looking for Force sensitive people. It's got to be, we
saw him. It was Mandalorian season 3, I think, where he was sitting with Ahsoka.
Oh, 3,
well, at the end of 2, and then it was also 3, right? Yeah. So he is rebuilding the temple there.
I want to see it so bad.
Yeah. Star Wars Nerd says if Jude Law isn't a Force user, Wim is definitely going to be one. I think so too, man. Just seems like the route they go. Yeah. So,
I don't know if I'd want them to go that route. Oh, as fun as that would be, it would just be cool to just have a Star Wars character that, Jedi, cool, awesome, but doesn't become a Jedi. This is just, they're in the same world, but he's not going to become a Jedi.
Yeah,
I think
Galactic, you're right.
Yeah, those two shows ran into the same thing for me, so I forgot.
And let's be honest, Book of Boba Fett was kind of almost a Mandalorian season, partly season, like half season for Mandalorian. So let's be fair.
It was it was the one episode or 2 episodes with the Mandalorian were the best portions of that show and better than Mandalorian season 3 anyway. So that's where we saw Luke and Ahsoka and Grogu on that planet. That's right.
This has been brought up a lot, but there is one character that I would love to see live action, and it's a pirate show, and he should be in this show.
I know who you're talking about.
Hondo. I want to see Hondo live action.
Let's
He
go.
needs to be in this. Do you remember Hondo, Mike?
I know the name. He's from the Clone Wars, right?
Yep. I'll
Yep.
show you a picture here. I'll share it
Yeah,
with
show
you.
me a picture because I can't. I'm having a hard time remembering.
All right. I'm going to share my screen here. Guy on the right side.
Oh yes, awesome character. Totally agree. That
Yep.
would be really awesome.
He's a flippin' pirate. Why would you not have him in a pirate show? Like,
Well, he's older now, though, right? He'd be a lot because that's Clone Wars, and we're going to go through. I don't know how long did the Empire last in canon?
I think it's about 22 years.
Okay, he's still fine. He's still around then.
Yeah. Yep. Star Wars Nerd says, I smell profit. Just imagine Johnny Depp returns after the Amber Heard drama as Hondo.
Oh boy.
My name is Hondo Anaka. You're looking for a Jedi? My best friend was a Jedi. At least I think we were friends.
Yes, that'd be
There you
great.
go.
Was he?
He was in Rise of Sky. What?
I don't remember.
I saw that once. I saw it once.
No offense, but doubt. Well, maybe his voice was there on the radio when they're like, "Everyone's here," but I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him either. But
Yeah, that would have been way in the future.
I would love to see Hondo.
Because Hondo was also in Rebels, also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's right.
Which is during the Empire, obviously, and all that. So like, he's still alive.
Yeah, I totally like that character.
Somebody mentioned this guy, and I was like, this would make sense because in the posters we have X-wings and stuff. Wedge Antilles is still alive during this time. Let's see a Wedge Antilles. Right?
Yes. Why not make a Wedge Antilles show?
Well, that's what Rogue Squadron was supposed to be, and I don't know if they're still doing that or not. But I would love to see like a show like that, like Rogue Squadron. That would be cool.
And you could recast him, obviously. Get someone else to play Wedge. He's like one of the most legendary X-wing pilots. So yeah, let's do a show about him.
Yep, I agree. Star Wars Nerd said his ship and the Ghost from Rebels were in it. Literally just the ships.
Okay.
Gotcha. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I gotta go back and watch that. Apparently,
I did know about the Ghost from Rebels being in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other thing too. Like they could. I mean, there's so much they could do. Like Zeb. Like we only saw Zeb in.
He was in one of the shows.
Yeah, he was in one of the shows. Like, I don't know if it was Mandalorian or not. One of the shows.
Ahsoka. Anyway, I think it was Ahsoka. I can't remember.
I don't think it was in Ahsoka. Which is weird that he would.
It was one like episode. It was in episode 1 or 2 of one of those shows.
Yeah, where we got Zeb. So I don't know. There's a lot of cool things they could go. A lot of places. Zeb was in Mando 3 season 3 ending. Yeah. That makes sense. I remember seeing him like, and you didn't. Yeah, in the cantina. That's right. With what's the Asian pilot's face that we always see in a lot of the movies now and shows? What's his face?
I was gonna say Uncle Iroh, but because doesn't he play in the Avatar: Last Airbender live action?
Yeah. So Star Wars Nerd says he saw this in Will of the Force's Instagram, but Hondo will make a small cameo at the end. He's been looking for Ezra, and that would be a really good way to connect what's been going on with Ahsoka with this and make it more of bring it towards the Heir of the Empire stuff. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That Emergent Carson Teva calls up Wedge Antilles for some help. Carson Teva, is that the dude?
That's the X-wing cop guy from Mando and Ahsoka, correct?
Yes, that's the guy I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
He's literally like the space cop. Yep.
The space cop. Yeah, that's exactly what he is.
Yep. So, yes, the Asian guy. Yep. Carson Teva. Yeah. So, yeah, that'd be sweet, man. Like he calls up Wedge Antilles, and you get to see Wedge. That'd be sweet. I'd love that. So, great show. So, like I said, Mike, even if you don't want to pay for Disney Plus, like, get with Andy, go over there, watch the show. So far, it's good. I think you'll enjoy it. Like, I really do. So far, it's pretty good. So,
I know I got a couple things to catch up on when I get Disney Plus back. That being one of them. X-Men '97 being another one. I know that was really good as well. So there's some things that Disney's, I guess, is putting out that's good.
Star Wars Nerd says Space Cops coming soon. You guys remember those old I mean, I'm sure Mike you do. Andy, I don't know if you remember but the old advertisements on like the VHS that had like the blue screen with like the yellow lines is like coming soon to theaters and all that. That's what that reminded me of. Yep.
I mean, I grew up with that. Of course, I remember it.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I remember that.
Daisy looks like she's confused at the moment. Has no idea what we're talking about.
No, I was confused with the Hondo stuff because I haven't seen Clone Wars yet.
Oh wow.
Why are you watching Skeleton Crew? You need to be watching the Clone Wars. No.
Clone Wars is one of the greatest shows, period.
Oh, yeah.
It is true.
Yep. Says Rogue Squadron needs to be put back in production. I agree. It does. All right. So Skeleton Crew, obviously we're excited. Like I said, I already have Star Wars Nerd. Daisy, come on now.
I know. I'm watching Mandalorian right now.
That's a good show too. I'll give you
that. First 2 seasons were excellent.
Yes.
Third one, I don't know, a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. It took me a few weeks just to get through the first 2 episodes of Mandalorian.
It starts off a little slow.
Yeah, but I just before you texted me, I had just finished episode 3 going into episode 4, and oh my god, I started to get into it. I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
You could finish season 1, but before you do season 2, I'd go and watch Clone Wars and even Rebels, because there are going to be some characters that show up in season 2 which are callbacks to those shows. Not many of them, but enough to say, okay,
yeah,
okay,
for sure. All right, Andy, put on those glasses.
Okay.
All right, so as promised quite a while ago, but never got to it, we're going to talk a little Bigfoot. So I'm going to go grab some more water real quick. But in the meantime, Andy, take it away. Let's go Bigfoot, baby.
Alrighty. So where's my PowerPoint? No. So as you guys remember, I'd mentioned that they had done a Bigfoot DNA study. And the premise of the study was every time there's a documentary or someone gets Bigfoot hair or DNA or something, it always comes back as, human contamination. Always, every time. And these researchers said, hey, what if it's not contamination? What if there's something to this? So they did, I think it was, I want to say it was a 5-year study. And the scientist that was in charge of this research was Dr. Ketchum. I think her, based out of Texas, Melba Ketchum, former veterinarian, and then she works at DNA Diagnostics in Texas. She released a 50-page study where they looked at the nuclear. So our DNA, we have a two different sides. We have mitochondrial DNA and nuclear DNA. Mitochondrial DNA is from our mother's side. I could be very wrong. Let me know in the chats. And then nuclear DNA comes from our father's side. Apparently, according to all the DNA studies that they've done for this Bigfoot project, the mitochondrial DNA is 100% human, the mother's side. The nuclear DNA, the father's side, is unknown. It is not known on this planet. Now, that could be that it's just a another human genetics that we just haven't mapped. But as far as we know, it is nothing that that's not on the genetics map. It's not from anything that we've ever seen before. So that brings in the question of, okay, if this is legit, if this is the real DNA of a real creature called or person called Bigfoot, because according to the mother's side of the DNA, it is 100% human. What is this thing? If it is 100% human on the mother's side, but the father's side is not, at least not a known type of human. Thoughts?
What? No words. No words from either of us.
Right? Now, I have now that kind of leads into a different subject, which I know, Mike, you know that's where I'm kind of leading this because I want to hear your thoughts.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've heard of something like this before, haven't we,
yes.
in history?
It's been a couple thousand years, but yeah.
Give me the bulleted point version of what you just said so I can follow along.
Okay. So pretty much they did a 5-year study on all the Bigfoot DNA that's human contamination. The premise of the research was, what if it's not contamination?
Okay. Oh no! Now that he's telling us the truth, and they ain't even online now. This is insane.
Well, I could share what he said because he did say it before. Basically, from the mother's genealogy, human DNA. From the father's, the male genealogy, unknown DNA.
Interesting.
So it's a hybrid of human female mating with an unknown species. No species that we have mapped in the CIA got him. That's
You're right, Collector Cantina. He's down.
He's down. Oh no, he's gone now.
I took him off because he's blank. Once he comes back on, I'll put him back on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he just left my thing too. So yeah, he gone now. That's it.
I can add to the Bigfoot story a little bit. Just anecdotally, my ever since meeting Andy, my wife and I kind of follow a little Bigfoot thing here, but she just sent me something like 2 days ago. There's actually in Oregon, and one of their laptop battery died. That's what he said.
Woo, okay, Andy Garcia is still good. Andy Garcia is still good, guys.
Bigfoot
CIA did not get him.
Nope, we're good. We're good.
There's a sign in one of the national forests in Oregon. Literally, I'll have to try and find it and share it with you guys, where it was describing like, do not go into this forest, like an official sign, because of Homo Sasquatchian. And there's been Homo Sasquatchian attacks in this forest. So we recommend you not go. It's just like, okay, someone that's a sign. It's just basically saying, yeah, we have these Sasquatch and then we don't know what to do with them.
Dang.
Yeah.
Star Wars Nerd said, not necessarily a Bigfoot story, but the other week I was headed back from break and I noticed some eyes in the woods. So I slowed down thinking it was a deer. And as I got closer, the thing was massive, had yellow eyes. Then it noticed it was skinny, had long arms, and took off as soon as I looked it in the eyes.
Yeah,
well,
I heard a lot of that.
At all.
That sounds more like a Slender Man thing.
It kind of does, yeah.
Or what is the one that Skinwalker? Skinwalker would have been, I guess.
Yeah, Skinwalker. That's it. That's it.
Yep. And not Slender. Slender Man's more of an urban, like a fiction type stuff. Not that Skinwalker seems. Yeah, it sounds like a Skinwalker thing.
Yeah. There was real quick until Andy gets back on here. Did you guys see? Do you guys know the old, very old case from back in the 60s? It was like the DB. What was his name?
DB Cooper.
Yes.
DB Cooper. Yes. Did you Loki did a thing on that?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He did. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Loki in the Marvel universe, Loki is DB Cooper. But anyway, keep going.
They reopened the case because someone found part of the parachute that he had used. Apparently, I saw this on. Let's see. DB Cooper's infamous parachute may have just been found breaking open the 50-year-old case. Someone just posted that. Since we're talking about like crazy things.
I was gonna say, I thought they closed that case when like Josh Gates solved it or something. Do you know who Josh Gates is? Did you see the episode? Josh Gates, he has a show called Expedition Unknown. And he did an big episode on DB Cooper. I actually think he did quite a few, and I could have swore they solved the case.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into Expedition Unknown. I've heard of it before. I haven't watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It'll be interesting to see. I've been following this because I love like old cases like that have been unsolved. Oh, there he is. Okay, I gotta move people back. There we go.
Sorry, guys. I just got a visit from my local FBI agent. Didn't want me to talk about what we were talking about. So.
No, that's the CIA.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
just kidding.
When you first went down, the Galactic Cantina posted this.
CIA got him.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Mike was saying like female DNA, no male DNA, and then you were talking about you went the Force of Oregon. Finish that real quick.
Go ahead. What's that, Mike?
Well, you're talking about because I think I mentioned the forest, the sign in the Forest of Oregon. Yeah, Andy, you weren't here when I said this, but my wife sent me this a blurb, or it was a picture of a sign in the Forest of Oregon that was basically warning backpackers not to go or warning in this forest. There's attacks from Homo sapiens. So they clarified it as a genus species, and so right in there saying there's attacks here. Be careful, don't go. It was basically a warning poster, like you would see at any forest that has trails or whatever. Just very plain as day. I think I should share it with you.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Well, so with that, we have, like I said, we have you said the female. They had a known female DNA. Is it DNA and then no known male?
Correct. So the mother side of the DNA is 100% human. Okay. That's verifiable. The father's side of the DNA is it's not human. Okay. And it's not anything. It's not on the anywhere on the genetics map. It's not human. It's not anything that we know of. Basically, it's something not on this planet so far that we know of. So you could say, like, if you believe in evolution, like, okay, it's another humanoid relative that we just haven't discovered yet. Or what I was kind of hoping to take the conversation to is it could be a Nephilim. So we heard in the Bible, there's the story of Genesis. There's the story of the sons of God mingling with the daughters of men and creating the Nephilim, these giants, these monstrous hybrids. And it kind of sounds like that could be what Bigfoot is.
Gotcha.
That would be a genetic form that we don't have. You don't have angelic DNA, obviously, but
yeah.
But that's where I was going to take the conversation. But while I was waiting for my computer to reboot, I was hearing some of your guys' conversation on YouTube, and it sounded like it was getting really interesting.
Yes.
Please continue.
Well,
we were just talking about DB Cooper.
Yeah, I was just talking about DB Cooper. They recently reopened the case. They think they might have found the actual parachute.
Oh.
That he used.
What?
Yeah, look it up. It's pretty cool. I love, like I said, I love old cases like that haven't been solved. I think they're so cool.
Yeah, the more you go into them, the more interesting. You're like, why weren't they solved? Well, the DB Cooper case, Although Daisy did say that might have actually been solved, but the DB Cooper case is just crazy.
Well, they think, from what I've seen, they think it might have been a guy named, is it something McCoy? What's his name? Let me pull it up. They think it might have been, what was his name? Did he say McCoy? Richard McCoy. Grider found what he claims is Cooper's parachute on a property owned by the family of the late Richard McCoy Jr., one of the men considered by the FBI to be a serious suspect in the case. And if you look, so here you go. I'm going to share my screen. If you look at this picture, the left is the one that somebody painted it as, the sketch. The right is Richard McCoy Jr.
Very similar character features.
Very similar features, absolutely. So apparently, though, McCoy was killed 2 years later in a shootout with FBI agents after he escaped from federal prison. So where they found the parachute must have been a relative, obviously a distant relative of Richard McCoy Jr. But that's kind of cool. I mean, look at that.
That's pretty uncanny.
That's like the harness and everything right there that you'd strap to your back for the parachute and everything. Like,
I just Googled it, and there's nowhere that says that Josh Gates solved it, but it just says that he investigated the landing site.
Gotcha.
Well,
okay.
Wasn't it in Mexico? I don't know where I heard the story. I'd heard that apparently a father and son had found like some stashes of money. Maybe a couple of years after the event, and they had found money scattered around like a wilderness area, and they said that it was some of the missing bills that B.D. Cooper had taken. And so the belief was that he was probably had died somewhere in Mexico or New Mexico. I don't know where he flew over.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of urban legends with when it comes to DB Cooper. It's crazy. Like, you think back in that time. I'm reading part of this here. It says, and according to, it's called Cowboy State Daily, McCoy's children, Chante and Richard III, have said that they agree with Grider's discovery and have long suspected their father was the hijacker. In his series, Grider said that the FBI investigators told him a possible next step would be to exhume McCoy's body and attempt to get a DNA match with evidence left behind.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. I love stuff like that. There's so many conspiracy theories out there. Like, if we're talking nerd stuff, right? Like, was the Titanic actually the Britannica? And the Britannica actually the Titanic? There's a lot of evidence that they actually swapped them right before the maiden voyage.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I believe that.
And you also, the dark conspiracy behind the Titanic or Britannic was that there was supposed to be, I'm going to forget exactly the details, but there were supposed to be 4 big time investors in there, including the Rockefeller. And then at the last minute, Rockefeller didn't get on. And then his competitors all got on, and then they all died.
Yeah.
Those kind of conspiracy stuff, I'm pretty. I like following that. You can just hear all the different sides to that.
Yeah, there's so many different ones too when it comes to like war and stuff like that. Like my favorite thing to learn about history wise is World War II. You know, and there's the conspiracy that Roosevelt knew about Pearl Harbor and helped not necessarily plan, but like knew the Japanese plan and let them do it so that way they could get involved in the war.
Yeah, it could have been preventable. Yeah. That's what I've heard as well. I wouldn't be surprised, considering that we now know that Vietnam, we shot our own ship, sank our own ship, and then said, "Oh, the Vietnamese attacked, so now we can go to war."
I mean, there's conspiracies that say the same thing about 9/11, and the more I look into them, the more I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I I don't believe the traditional narrative coming out of our leaders. I haven't for a while. For 4 years, I haven't believed anything that our leadership says and the mainstream structure. So I'm kind of on the. You could count me as a tinfoil hat wearing guy right now.
There's a lot of stuff I'm in there on, like 100%.
Well, here's the thing: all the tinfoil hat people lately have been proven right again and again, and so now it's like, when you say conspiracy theory, people shouldn't laugh anymore. It should be, let's pause, let's think about that, because they've been right so many times.
Here's the problem with them being right so many times. It gets you like starting to question everything, and then you kind of get off into some weird stuff. But like when you see the mainstream narrative, absolutely, I question it. And for me, it all started with just the COVID and the way that the media and the government handled the reaction to COVID, and how everything they were telling us was proven to be a lie soon thereafter. And then you just go into rabbit trails from there. If they lied about that, did they lie about this? And did they lie about this? And why? Oh, because then you start connecting the money and following the trails. It's like, oh, yeah. Is anything we're told? Anyway.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. Like you said, like I've heard a lot of conspiracies about 9/11 and stuff too.
Yeah.
Daisy, have you heard any of these conspiracies and stuff?
I have not, but
okay.
I'm very interested.
Yeah, 9/11 was just a ploy to get us into Iraq. Yeah.
For the oil, right?
Part of it was
we never actually, but we never took the oil. That was the problem.
That was the problem. We did. That might have been the excuse. That was never the actual.
Supposedly we went there because they had just discovered the tomb of Nimrod.
I forgot about that. Babel. That's part of the conspiracy too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the U.S. military wanted to retrieve the body because they believe that there's supernatural powers linked with the body, and so they went in to go remove that.
It's crazy to think like there is.
That's what I heard.
In my opinion, without a doubt, like some really seriously deep state stuff that we have no idea about. All these world events that we go through are just part of like a super deep state.
Yeah, absolutely.
For deeper, darker secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But on the outside, to us, it looks just, yeah.
Have you heard? I think maybe we talked about this. Oh, hold on a sec. Star Wars Nerd just posted.
That's a little too close to real life there, Star Wars Nerd, but you're absolutely right.
Yep, 100%.
I was going to say, the current UFO phenomenon as we experience it, UFO has been seen throughout all of human history, but what we are experiencing nowadays started during World War II.
Yep.
That was Germany started with the military was experimenting with the occult, and that's when their pilots started seeing the UFOs. And then right after that, U.S. military said, we're going to do that too. Started messing with the occult. Officially, they canceled the project because it didn't work, but doubt. Anyways, they started messing with the occult, and that's when our pilots started seeing UFOs. And after that, America as a whole has just seen UFOs like crazy, and it's gotten more and more.
My dad, my grandpa actually had a story before he passed and my dad can attest to this. I think my dad was like 7 or 8 years old at the time, where they were sitting down watching TV in their living room, and they lived out in the country. And all of a sudden, like they had a couple dogs outside, and they were usually, for the most part, pretty quiet. Nothing usually ever happened. And all of a sudden, the dogs started just going nuts, like absolutely off their rocker. And so my grandpa went out there and was like, what is going on? And when he opened the door and looked up, there was just like the ship thing just hovering over the top of their house. And he said he looked up and he could see just like shadows moving inside whatever was in there. And he's like, this is weird. And all of a sudden the ship just like moved to the side, and then poof, it was gone.
Yep, that's a typical story here.
This is weird.
When I was living in Texas when I was 8, me and my dad and my sister were on our way home one night, And we came up to the stoplight by our house, and we all looked up, and we just saw perfect triangle. Just the most perfect triangle. Each point of the triangle was a yellow light, but it would go in and out.
Mhm.
And it
Whoa.
hovered and just
Poof, gone.
disappeared.
Wow.
That's insane. I've seen, I think I've told you this, Mike. Maybe I've told you, Morgan. Behind our house, and I've seen it a couple times. So Reed's seen it as well. There's usually it looks like a satellite, a speck of light out in the stars that will move up and down, side, back and forth, up, down, just for like an hour straight. We'll just keep doing that. And I've tried taking video. My phone doesn't do well at night through a window, but I have a photograph of just this little. It's not.
You show me the
useful in
photograph.
any
It's
way.
hard to see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not useful in any way because the phone cannot take photos like very well in the dark. But I've seen it maybe four times now. Just every once, especially in the wintertime, it's out there. And I do know that back in that direction, I think there used to be a military base. I think it's defunct now, but so they say. But yeah.
Star Wars Nerd says the ice wall. What's beyond that?
Oh boy, now that's a whole.
I love
Eddie's
that
gonna flip that.
idea. I don't believe in a flat Earth, but as a fantasy writer, I do love the concept of an ice wall surrounding the world, and that there's other things beyond it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But we have it from. Is it Mike? Correct me. Is it Admiral Byrd?
Admiral Byrd, he was the one that apparently got
Yep.
up high enough and saw things past Antarctica, past the ice wall. Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Sorry, I'm gonna try to make this super brief. Does anyone know about the Allied expedition to Antarctica right after World War II?
I know that's where they
know-
got the treaties.
I
Okay.
know that I was watching a history channel thing about it, and they actually found the bones of a pilot up that way and part of an
I never heard
airplane
that.
up that way. Yeah. Other than that,
Okay,
no.
I've never heard that. Interesting.
Hey, Retney's
Well-
Holocron in the building. What's up, Retney? How are you doing, man? We're
Hey!
just talking all things nerd, including right now conspiracy theories. Join us.
Indeed. Welcome. Let us know what is your favorite conspiracy theory.
Yeah, tell us your
Yeah,
favorite conspiracy theory in the comments.
Star Wars Nerd,
But,
just to what he's. Go ahead. I'm going to respond to Star Wars Nerd when you're done about some secrets.
Oh no, you respond to his thing first, and then I'll finish.
Yeah, because I agree with you. I don't believe in the flat Earth or the ice wall, but there is something up there that they don't want us to know. I listened to an amazing podcast, the Sean Ryan Show. If you guys are into some of this stuff, he's all over the place, but fantastic podcaster. But basically, a couple of his guests came on, and they say they've got weapons, like big time weapons out there. What is it called? DEWs, direct energy weapons, and apparently that earthquake in they can create earthquakes. That earthquake in Christchurch, Australia, that was a couple of years ago now, was because
New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah, sorry, was because there was a DEW that was misfired from Antarctica, and so yeah, that's one of the things that is postulated that's out there. That's why no one else is able to go out there. I mean, you also heard that Neil Armstrong went out there, and he came back saying he had a heart attack right after he left, and he said, "Is the most evil things out there," and that's all. And now he doesn't talk about it. Really weird.
Insane.
Weird.
Well, so what I was going to mention was right at, like, this is literally after the war ends. World War II is officially over. Russia, England, America, and maybe some other countries, I'm not sure, but the Allied forces, they do a scientific expedition to Antarctica right after the war ends. But they bring tanks, they bring military weapons, bombers, everything. They bring the works to go to Antarctica right after the war ends. Now we do know that the Nazis were supposedly were interested in building a base in Antarctica, so you could say, okay, the real final battle of World War II was in Antarctica, and they just didn't tell the world about it. Or maybe that's where they realized, hey, there's something else going on. Went to Antarctica, realized there's other continents out there, or there's something else there. I mean, there's people that talk about one of the ice mountains is actually a pyramid covered in ice. We don't know. We know that Antarctica was at one point a tropical land, and I think it's the Pirius Reis map. That's an old map that was made during the Ottoman Empire days, and that has like a perfect, so they say, perfect like mapping of Antarctica, complete with rivers and everything. What would have been there before the ice caps, before it froze over. But so all that to say, there might be other lands out there. There might be something else going on. It could be that's where the final battle of World War II happened, or I don't know what Neil Armstrong could have seen. Could it just be that that's where the most evil of all the governments go, and that's where they do things? Like Bohemian Grove?
We already have Bohemian Grove and Epstein Island. I mean, that's a lot closer than Antarctica. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. But
Star Wars Nerd says
potential. I mean, DEW. That's a real Death Star beam. Direct energy weapons can do that. I don't know if they can blow up a planet, but create earthquakes.
One thing I saw that was really cool. You mentioned, I think, Andy, you just recently mentioned something with Egypt or something like that, maybe, or I was just looking at
the pyramid. Yeah.
I saw this a while back, and I was like, this is kind of interesting, and you wonder where this comes from, but this is true pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Show this here. The bottom is Egypt. The top is the Grand Canyon.
Yes, I've seen that.
Oh, have you heard of
this? Is kind of interesting. Go ahead.
No, I'll let you finish because I think you might be going the same direction.
No. I'll let you just talk about. Go ahead. I just think this is really interesting that it's very similar. Like there's some type of same type of culture somehow.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you brought up, because have you heard of the mummies that they supposedly found in the Grand Canyon?
No. So Daisy, have you heard this? I've never heard this.
Now, this is officially National Geographic and Smithsonian have said, no, this is all false, yada, yada. But who believes them? Apparently, the area that is closed off to the public in the Grand Canyon, they all have Egyptian names. I don't know the exact names off the top of my head, but they all have Temple of the Sun, something like that. It's crazy names. But back in the day, apparently there was a guy in the 30s that went exploring, found a cave, and he said there's a whole room full of sarcophaguses, Egyptian-style sarcophagus, mummies, everything. He came out and said, "Hey, this is what I found." Next thing you know, all of it was gone, and that place became off limits. And now most of the Grand Canyon is off limits to the public. And that's where they have military bases. But there's a lot of stories of Egyptian artifacts, Egyptian mummies being found, particularly in the Grand Canyon area. And Smithsonian usually comes in and takes it all away. Well, recently there was a mummy found in Egypt. It was one of the I want to say a pharaoh, but I could be wrong. There was a mummy that was found with traces of cocaine on the body. Now, granted, they said okay, one of the archaeologists was taking cocaine. It's contamination, whatever. But someone said, what if it's not contamination? Cocaine, the original plant at that time, could only have been found in the Americas. Is it possible that the Egyptians had trade in some way to the Americas way back in the day? And that's how there's cocaine residue on the body. And that would be why there's Egyptian mummies in the Grand Canyon area, and why, that rock that you pointed out, could look like the remnants of a sphinx.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude, that's so cool. And it reminds me too, I was talking with some buddies the other day of the pyramids in general, like how well they were built. You know, like to the point where like the blocks are so finely stacked together that you can't even get a slit of paper in between them because they're so mathematically
We
cut.
cannot do that now. We can't do that now with our modern technology.
We cannot duplicate that at all. And so we were talking about like we think civilization's actually gotten dumber. Yeah, sure, we have cell phones, but like we can't.
Absolutely.
How did they build that? How did they get that mathematically perfect? How did they like get those blocks in place even? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's just crazy. Like, how in the world the pyramids were even built?
And there's pyramids all across the world, not just in Egypt. I mean, the Aztec pyramids, all over the place.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And we can't do anymore.
And you're right. The architecture is the same. A lot of these ancient megaliths, the rocks are the rocks are perfectly fitted together. There's no way they could have done that.
Right.
It's like, but it's almost every major continent has at least something like that.
Yeah.
So that means whoever was, at least there was some cultural exchange at some point.
Yeah. All right, last one before we get going, because you said Forbidden Zone. It reminded me of this. What do you think's in the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Anybody that knows me, anybody that has known me since I was a child has known that I cannot handle anything about the Bermuda Triangle. Anytime anyone in my house growing up would turn on something on the TV that had to do with the Bermuda Triangle, I was gone across the other side of the house.
Just because it freaks you out?
I can't handle it.
Just freaks you out a little bit?
Yeah, it really does.
Okay. Can we? Are you okay if we give our speculation as far as what we think's there?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Andy. I'll let you start.
Oh, I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I guess me neither.
It's an enigma. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, enigma. Yep. I think it's some type of like giant, like some type of giant sea creature or something that lives there. I mean, the way you look,
like a Leviathan,
like a Leviathan type of idea. Like, I mean, it's from what I've seen, like on TV when they describe the Bermuda Triangle, it's always cloudy, it's always hazy, it's almost got like almost a swamp feel to it, right? The way it's described, like to me, that screams like giant creature, like a Leviathan that lives in there.
Gotcha.
That's taking all these things down.
My only question is, why would it only be there and not other places in the globe? But then that, I mean, I'm reminded from what the Book of Revelation says, that there's angels bound in the river Euphrates. Now we know the Book of Revelation or the Bible isn't exhaustive in what it explains, so that could be an angel or fallen angel or Leviathan bound over there, and that's that thing's territory. You don't go there. I don't know. It's definitely plausible.
I just think maybe just because of the type of conditions it's in, right? Like I said, it's the hazy, it's the cloudy, it's almost the swamp feel. Like it stays home. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, stays home. Okay, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, there's so many cool theories of what it could be. I do like the sea monster deal. It just doesn't explain planes falling out of the sky.
Depends on how big the sea monster is.
That's fair. That is fair.
Like we have not even been able to explore the depths of the ocean because we haven't gone down far. We're not able to go down far enough. Like maybe this thing is able to survive that kind of stuff and goes down so far. It's a massive creature, you know.
Have you heard of the great white shark that disappeared off the coast of Australia? So there was a great white shark that they had tagged off the coast of Australia, and they had been monitoring it for couple months, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared off the radar. Couldn't find it. And then one day some guy found a tracker washed up on the beach, brought it into the scientists, and they were able to extract the data from it. And the shark, this was the tag that had been on that shark that had a gum missing. They said they were able to read the temperature, like everything that was happening to the shark. And it said in a matter of moments, it had descended thousands of feet under the water in a matter of moments, like that, just dropped. And then the
like it was being dragged down,
and then the body heat went skyrocketed, like it was inside something's stomach. And then done. So the last moments of the shark was it had been dragged down to the bottom of the ocean and swallowed.
Thousands of feet per second. Yeah.
Something like to that effect.
Dang. Yeah, Star Wars Nerd says we know more about space than our own ocean. That terrifies me. I'm with you.
Yes, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you heard that apparently NASA, their original goal was mapping the bottom of the ocean? And then all of a sudden they stopped and said, never mind, we're going to space. What did they see down there?
Yeah.
Right.
Please don't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave.
No, you're fine. I'm kidding. I can't handle water.
But here's the deal, too. Here's the reason I say it's the big sea creature, because there are tons of myths and legends, and anytime there's a myth or legend, there's kernels of truth inside them. And cultures across the world through time all have some type of mythos or legend about a giant sea creature. Some type of insanely massive sea creature that takes down anything.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. I mean, Loch Ness Monster is a classic, but so, like you look at the Kraken. That was, I mean, sailors knew about that for years, since the Vikings, maybe before, and scientists, historians laughed at them and said, like, it's just made up. And finally, we discovered the giant squid.
And correct me if I'm wrong. The Kraken was in the Caribbean area, right?
I don't know, actually.
Okay, maybe I'm. No, the Kraken would have been Greek. Sorry. I think it's Greek. I could be wrong. I'm probably missing.
It might be Greek, but I'm pretty sure I've seen like Viking stories of the Kraken. Mm-hmm. Vikings have stories.
Right, yeah.
They're the earliest ones I know of from the Vikings.
Yeah.
But you look at all the Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, the indigenous peoples around this area had tons of stories of there's giant serpents in those lakes or something like that. And it's every time there's a lake where the Native Americans say, hey, there's something there, the settlers say, oh, you're making it up. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, some random guy saw some strange creature one day on his boat. And it's like, because the Native Americans said it was there. They've been telling us all along. We never listened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some pretty crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. But I've heard some really interesting stories about lake monsters sea monsters off of Florida. There's apparently one that a lot of the fishermen know about, just no one's gotten the chance to take a photograph of it. And they're like, if you're a fisherman in this particular part of the ocean, you'll know what we're talking about. And it's got the same features that sailors have been talking about since the 1800s. It's a long neck. It's got like either seaweed or like a horse-like mane on its neck, and just chills near the boat.
Interesting.
Chills near the boat. Yeah. And terrifies the sailors at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily chills by the boat, but it's not afraid of us, which is scary.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Which maybe goes back to the fact that it's been seeing it's been seeing humans for centuries and seeing boats for centuries. Yeah. It's just kind of used to the fact that.
But that's so you're saying then that this thing doesn't die, that it's ageless, as opposed to like breeding and having more of its kind.
Well, it could, but we now know that Greenland sharks, the oldest known Greenland shark, has been alive since the 1600s.
Okay.
Like we don't know how old these animals actually get. Just the creatures that we know about.
Yeah.
So like something like a leviathan, some sort of sea serpent, they could last for hundreds of years, thousands maybe. I doubt thousands, but
yeah,
we don't know. But more than likely, I think there's at least a breeding pair. There's definitely enough to continue the population.
Sure. I was just
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I'm gonna let that. We've been going for about an hour and a half. I just looked at the time.
Right,
Went,
yeah.
holy crap! It's already been an hour and a half.
Oh no, I'm just getting started.
Right? Daisy,
that's what the next couple of weeks are for.
I hope you're not gonna, have any nightmares or anything as we talked about some of this stuff.
I will.
We're sorry,
but it's fine. I forgive you.
It'll be fine. You're safely tucked away in your bed. Just put your blanket over your head. Robbers can't get you there. I just think that's funny that we pretend that. Anyway, Daisy, it's kind of funny. I'm looking at your shirt right now, and I just realized I almost wore that same shirt tonight.
Oh,
what does it say? Mine's too small to see.
It says Star Wars, and then it's got Vader on it.
Vader.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys watching. As I said before, go to saberpros.com, get a saber, use code GAZER at checkout, get 10% off your order. Currently, they have a deal, Black Friday deal, buy one, get one for 30% off, and then use the code GAZER. I think you'll be able to get the extra 10% off, so don't forget that. Also, as always, go to Rebel Scum Apparel, use code Star Wars Gazer at checkout, get 15% off your entire order, sign up for rewards. It's going to be a grand old time there. Guys, I really appreciate you being in here. Star Wars Nerd says, no, I'm enjoying this chat.
Me too.
He also says, use code SWW0 at Rebel Scum Art and Apparel. Yep. As long as you use Star Wars Gazer first, then you can use the other one. That's fine. Star Wars Nerd, when it comes to this, we'll save it for next time, and you can be on next time, and then we'll continue our let's talk about next week. Let's talk about some more conspiracy theories and deep dive into some more of those. So if you guys want to do a little studying on some conspiracy theories, we can start talking some theories. So it'll be fun.
I could do that.
Let's do it. We should try to have a competition. Like, oh yeah, I'll do you one better. What about this one?
Yeah, you're into the more Bigfoot stuff. I'm into the more political stuff and UFO stuff. So
there we go. That's fair.
Yeah, we'll do some conspiracies. If Daisy, if you're in, great. If not, I understand. I don't want to scare you.
No, it's fine. I'll get to looking because, like I was saying before, Expedition Unknown has covered some really great conspiracy theories. So I'll get back to watching that and see what I can find.
When we're done with this live stream, stay on. We'll talk about let's do this. We'll talk about what conspiracy theory maybe we want to cover for next week, and we'll each take a conspiracy theory that interests us, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. Star Wars Nerd just updating us real quick. Apparently you can't use the codes and redeem points, so I've been wrong about that. I apologize. So use our code Star Wars Gazer, get 50% off your entire order. Star Wars Nerd, what lurks beneath and Swamp Dweller are some good cryptid channels. Yeah, what lurks beneath and Swamp Dweller. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, guys, it's been fun, and I really appreciate you guys being on here. I look forward to next week. I think it's going to be a great time. So next week, same time, we'll see. These guys will be on for sure. Who knows? We might talk to some more people, maybe get another few people on here. We could really do some serious conspiracy theory stuff. This might be fun, guys. So look forward to that. We'll talk to you next time, and may the Force be with you always.